No, shooting with dog is not easy. I know that, Charlie will steal the show. I had no doubts about that. But while playing the character Dharma, I understood actually myself as well in a lot of ways.
He is considered as somebody who experiments in cinema and set new benchmarks as far as filmmaking is concerned. Today we are going to talk to Rakshit Shetty, the Sandalwood star who kind of broke boundaries and made a name for himself in a lot of industries in India. And this interview is a couple of days ahead of his big release, that is 777 Charlie, which is a multi-starrer and is awaiting a grand release. Hello Rakshit.
Hi.
So the first and obvious question before the release of 777 Charlie is that what was your first memorable and very close association with a pet, or more specifically with a dog?
When I was in 3rd standard, I had a pet called Mickey, and there was one more dog at my place called Sweetie.
Right.
So she was there at my place, I think even before I was born. And when I was 11 years old, she passed away.
Right.
I remember when she died, me and my couple of my friends, we wanted to give her a last ride. So we did everything what we do for humans.
Right.
So that was, I think that was my last personal connection with the pet.
Right.
After that, there were always pets at home, but I never had a personal connection until 777 Charlie happened.
So, while working with children or say animals who are not exposed to the intricacies of filmmaking, what are the challenges you face to kind of get adjusted to the process of filmmaking? And also, given the fact that you had to come inside the project after it had started with another lead, how did you kind of get into the world of this movie?
Okay. They only had done one photo shoot, that's all.
Right, right.
But they had started a workshop. Right. By getting trained with Charlie.
With Charlie, yeah. So what I want to know is, first thing, how did you get into the rhythm of the story itself, and then kind of building rapport with Charlie, the dog itself?
So to be frank, when we were shooting for the first half of the film, I was also shooting for ASN.
Correct.
So I was finding it difficult because I was hopping. That is the first time I was doing 2 films at a time.
Right.
I was hopping from one set to the other set.
Correct.
And in this set, I am playing a role which is completely very outward and wacky kind of a character who is very outspoken and complete extrovert, and this character is completely introvert, exactly opposite of what Narayana is.
Right.
So whenever that switch is to happen, I used to find it difficult. Moreover, also because shooting with Charlie was not easy. Even in that set we were taking a lot of time. Even in this set we were taking a lot of time, but for two different reasons. That is because of the technical reasons we were taking a lot of time. Here it is because of Charlie itself. We were taking a lot of time. So I think those were the times when my patience were getting tested, in both the sets. Right. And at least in the ASN, I was involved in a lot of other things other than acting. So things were keeping me busy, and very interesting things were happening there. Here it was more of I was just acting. So I used to sit in the caravan doing nothing. Only when they used to call me for a shot, I used to go give my shot, and then that one shot used to go for like 3-4 hours because we are going for 30-40 takes because of Charlie. Right. And also, whenever I have given my best, I know that is not considered because Charlie has not performed. Right. And whenever, when Charlie has given its best, and I was like, oh, I could have done better, but yet they have to consider that shot. So a lot of fluctuation in terms of my thought process was also happening. So I think only during the second half is when we had completely finished with ASN, and Kiran Raj showed me the film of whatever we have shot in first half, and I was okay. I was like, okay, I watched the film, and okay, he's an introvert character, but I could have done even better, kind of a feeling. And then I went to the set shoot for the second half, thinking that okay, I need to give my best now. Right. So that's when I actually got completely inside Dharma's character. Now that I've seen the first half, I know what exactly is his journey until the interval.
Yeah.
And now from the interval, I have to take off as an actor, because that's where my probably performance will be noted when the film is out. And I knew that this is going to be a great film, and I didn't want to be like I know that Charlie will steal the show.
Yeah.
I had no doubts about that, but at least I need to stand by the end of the climax.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So in the movie, from the trailer that is, we kind of see you in two different phases, right? One before Charlie enters your life, and what happens after he makes an impact in your life. So taking your character Dharma, did you draw references from your life to kind of perfect the character? Was it very close to who Rakshit Shetty is as a person?
In the sense, I think when I started playing it, probably it, I had. I thought this is not me for sure. Okay, but then probably while playing it, I started understanding that this is so much like me.
Yeah.
Because at least Dharma is true to his character. He's an introvert, and he doesn't care about being being social.
Right.
Whereas I care about being social.
Yeah.
In the sense, although I know that there are certain things I am doing which I am not very comfortable with, but I've always done it because the world expects me to do so, and I am, for example, inside my friend circle, I am completely myself.
Right.
But as soon as I go out of my friend circle, I am a little holding myself, and that's how I have always been.
Yeah.
But then probably I never questioned myself for doing that. Although my friends noted it down, my friends always told that when he comes out, he becomes a little uncomfortable. So he's like that. All that and whenever they told me, so I always thought, okay, is that so? It was like that.
Yeah.
But while playing the character Dharma, I understood actually myself as well in a lot of ways, so by the end of it, probably once I finished doing the film, that's when I started questioning myself that now since what is the kind of emotion what Dharma goes through in the film, and what are the changes which happens, so has that change happened inside you as well, because you have gone through the emotion as not as Rakshit but as Dharma. So has the change happened inside you? After the shooting got over, probably there was a lot of time where I was exploring myself, and that's when I started questioning myself, and that's when I started asking myself where, in the sense, what is that which makes me uncomfortable when I'm not inside my friend circle, especially when I go for promotions.
Yeah.
Because I have to go to other industries and do everything what I have done 10 years back.
Right.
You understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you cannot hold yourself back.
You have to be, and especially while giving interviews also. 10 years back, I've sat for interviews where I know this interview is nothing like bullshit. Okay, because it's the same question. Okay, character ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ cinema journey ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿ. So as soon as I have to repeat this 10 times, I know I'm getting dumber, because I'm not giving any.
It's not intellectually
stimulating.
Yeah.
You're just reading out what's there already written in your mind.
Right.
And I've done this 10 years back, or or 5 years back also. And probably when I started thinking that now I don't have to do that anymore, I've reached a state where probably I don't have to repeat that.
Correct.
Now I have to go outside and do it again. And I know a few of the interviews, I know when I sit, I know that I'm going to be dumb now.
Yeah.
So that keeps happening, and so and also I question myself, how do I handle it? Correct. Otherwise, even if it is a dumb interview, how do I make it interesting from my side?
Correct.
Although I've not cracked it.
Obvious,
I have not cracked it yet. But at least that questions have started arising, and probably that is the start.
So what is the vibe that Rakshit Shetty creates when he walks into a set? Like, are people quite scared about you that when you come because you're that kind of a huge figure, or do you have?
No, I think people are comfortable.
Right.
I don't know. Probably, to approach me, they might be a little scared. I don't know, to be frank, because.
Or are you like in your own space preparing?
I'm always in my own space. Even if I'm shooting, until if they are getting the next shot ready, I'm probably sitting in one corner and reading a book.
Right.
So, or I'm the caravan, reading a book or watching something on my laptop or doing something like that. But I see whenever there is a problem on set, I think even the light officers come and approach me and tell me what is their problem.
So quite approachable that.
Yeah, so I believe that they're not scared of me.
Right.
But obviously, if something goes wrong, they know that this shouldn't happen also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so you kind of explained yourself as far as your roles were in Avanesh Srimanarayana and Charlie, but I'll still force this question. You are an actor, writer and director, but when you work with another filmmaker, how much do you hold yourself back from, say, giving a writing input or a direction input? Because there are talks about, how Rakshit Shetty kind of brings his own touches to films of which is not his, right? So what do you have to say about that?
So whenever I am going to the set as an actor, I normally think also as a director and a writer. For example, if I was directing and writing, will I be happy if an actor who is also a director and a writer, if he gets involved?
Correct.
So I know my boundaries. I know as a director probably I would want an actor, writer, director to be not cross this boundary. So even with Kiran Raj, I test that, what is his boundary, or while working with Rishabh also, or working with Hemant also, I keep testing that, what is my boundary which I shouldn't cross.
Correct.
So it's not that I don't speak out at all. I do speak out, but I know where to back off.
Got it. Right. So this question is about your style of acting. Like you mentioned in Avanesh Srimanarayana, you had a very goofy portrayal. As far as Ulidavaru Kandante is concerned, you're this badass guy who's kind of outperforming cops. Like, you had great fun on screen and it was very evident. Whereas, say in Godi Banna Sadharana Maikattu or a Kirik Party and now in Charlie, when there's a separation that happens to the character kind of loses somebody, you kind of portray that pain, right? And you've kind of mastered the art of portraying that pain. How do you internalize it? Like, as an actor, how do you master that kind of role?
So that's the beauty of being an actor. I think it's a very spiritual process also, because at one point you are understanding what the character is going through, and you're trying to go through those emotions. But again, you have a certain separation from that pain, because ultimately you don't have to take it home. So that's the beauty of being an actor. But at the same time, once you get to know that, oh, you can go through the pain, but you don't have to suffer. How well I can adopt that in my personal life as well. And if I am able to adopt it, then nothing like it. So this question answer keeps happening inside me.
Correct. So, do you kind of hold back something from the character when you move on to the next project, or is it like once the shot is done, you become like the Rakshit Shetty, the person?
I would like to believe that, but recently I've started observing, for example, when I see the making videos of Kirik Party, the way I was on set when I was shooting for the first half, and the way I was on set when I was shooting for the second half, there is a difference. And when I'm shooting for ASN, the way I am on set is very different from the way I am on set in Charlie. And that also in Saptasagar Rachayello, I'm very different. So I think there is some part of the character I take home, but not completely. Also probably because every day morning when I get up, I look at myself in the mirror, and the first thing which comes to my mind is the character I'm playing, because I tend to change my look in every film. So every film's look is associated with the character, and as soon as I see myself like that in the mirror, probably that character that's what 10 or 20% of the character is there with me all the time, because I'm in that look all the time. But when I'm playing the character, probably that's when that helps me to get inside the character and get out pretty easily. Because if I don't hold that 20% of the character, then probably every time there is a break and I have to come back to shoot after like 15-20 days, and probably getting inside the character becomes a little difficult.
And also, like, do you kind of miss something after this huge process of shooting this movie? Do you miss anything from 777 Charlie?
Oh, I'm not going to miss anything. I'm done with it.
Right, is it?
Yeah, I think that's the same with every film. Yeah, okay. Once I'm done shooting, I'm done with it. And once the premiere is over, I'm done with the film. I'm always looking forward for the next one.
Yeah. Rakshit, at least what the trend tells us is that post-pandemic, it is the big-scale films, the Hollywood movies, and say franchise films that are kind of pulling the crowd back to theaters. But you are somebody who kind of give emphasis to say storytelling, the story aspect of it more than the grandeur, right? So do you agree with the trend or the belief that I spoke of? And if yes, are you disappointed as a filmmaker?
No, I'm very, I'm very happy with what's happening right now, because for many reasons, to be frank. Obviously, so I mean, there is a disadvantage that not all films will be released in theatre henceforth. Probably there will be a clear-cut bifurcation between the kind of films which will come into theatres and the kind of films which you would want to watch it on an OTT platform. But at the same time, filmmaking is not a gamble anymore. There are a lot of sources where you can, whatever kind of film you want to do, there is a source where you can recover your money. And from Paramba Studios, we have experienced that, as a production house, we are seeing the advantages what OTT platform is getting. But obviously, for an audience to come to theatres, probably there has to be a very strong reason henceforth. If they come to theatre, probably it has to be a larger than life film, or at least there should be an experience which is meant for theatre. For 777 Charlie is not, it is a larger than life film because of the second half journey, what happens in the film. But otherwise, it's still relatable. It's not that Avengers kind of or a KGF kind of a larger than life film. It is still very relatable to your real life. But there is an experience, which probably you wouldn't have if you watch it in OTT platform, unless you have a 7.1 system in your house, all that. Unless you have that, the kind of experience what theatre can give you while watching 777 Charlie, you won't get it on an OTT platform. So it's not that it has to be an Avenger for you to release your film in theatres, but there has to be an some exclusive factor about the film which will bring the audience to theatres.
So you are saying, you're talking about say experience, you're talking about positioning the movie as a pan-India movie. You spoke about how it is kind of connecting to people through emotions. But to kind of make it a pan-India movie, have you gone a step further as far as the technology of the movie is concerned?
Oh, I mean, if you see the climax, the VFX portions, a lot of things we have shot on green screen. But when you watch the film, you won't get to know. You will feel that you are in Kashmir, and it's beautifully executed by Sachin and his team from Pinaka Studios. So yeah.
That is what stands out, you're saying.
As in, pushing the envelope that is what stands out. Also, shooting with dog is not easy, and getting those expressions from the dog. Obviously, we have shot for 167 days. That's the reason we have shot for 167 days. Otherwise, probably 777 Charlie is a 80-90 days shooting film. But we have shot for double because that's how slow. That's how slow we had to go while shooting with Charlie.
Right, Rakshit, like when you came in, I think 2014, like it was like you and maybe Pawan Kumar kind of created a way for people who wanted to do new generation movies, right? That was your biggest reputation. So once Charlie's trailer came out and now we are seeing a teaser of Sapna Sagar Achayallo, I saw a lot of comments like, this is Rakshit's time to shine. And there's also a comment saying that, maybe good times are back for Rakshit. My point is, he's always been there.
Yeah, I don't know what his good times is back.
Yeah, but let me break down that question. Like, from that kind of somebody who experiments movies, who's a very daredevil filmmaker, do you think people are also expecting you to be that kind of, the sure shot blockbuster filmmaker? Like, next few movies, there's no financial implications or troubles for you.
That time,
confident. Yeah, is that what people are expecting?
Probably yes. Yeah, I think ASN in a way, when the producer claimed a few things, probably that's when people were like, okay,
started talking about numbers.
Yeah. So probably, I believe ASN was a very, badly made business. Otherwise, ASN also could have done a lot of good business.
Right.
But anyways, which is also a main reason why I took Charlie completely on my, in my hand, and I wanted to show that how business can be improved if things are done at the right time, with the right people.
Right.
So yeah. Probably that's what they are pointing at, but I'm very sure that in the future films I'm very clear. I have very good clarity now, that what are the numbers where I can play around with, if it is certain kind of a film, and if it is certain kind of a film, then probably I can push the envelope, and ultimately I think every film has to, if it's a good film, and if it belongs to a certain genre, probably it deserves to make at least double the money what is invested.
Right. So you're saying that the strategy and the planning of Paramva Studios has changed, and this is like the 2.0 phase of the production house after what has happened in the previous, say, 5-6 years.
Yes, because there was a time when I was in a thought process where I didn't want to get too much involved in the production.
Right.
Although I have a studio, I wanted certain people to look after it, because I wanted to be in a very creative space.
Correct.
But I also realized that it sometimes also I was in a phase where I was exploring myself, so I was doing a lot of things. But right now I've come back to a place where I know I can handle creativity and the business together. At least if I can have an eagle's perspective on the business, and if I have the right people to look after a few things, things can go really well. And I think 777 Charlie and Sakutumba Sameta, these two films right now, which we sold, and gives me a good perspective about how to do business.
Right. Akshit, like a lot of people kind of term you, the often used term for you is that you're a very passionate filmmaker because of the time that you invest in your projects. But we are in an era where there's an overflow of content. So considering your lineup, that is, there is Richard Anthony, Richie, Kirik Party 2, and then there is Punyakoti, maybe part 1 and part 2. Will you be the same Rakshit who will invest a lot of time and be immersive in the projects? Or will you kind of succumb to the pressure and kind of wrap up the projects very quickly?
I always put a shorter schedule, but I've crossed it because those projects needed that kind of a time. For example, for ASN, obviously the first schedule was in 6 months we should finish writing. But there was so much of learning which was happening. The 6 months became 8 months, and then it became 1.5 years. After 1.5 years, we went on floor, and shooting and getting the first output took another 1.5 years. So ultimately, it took totally 3 years, or let's say 2.5 years, because I was also we were celebrating Kirik Party for 2-3 months after the film release. So that was my learning phase when it comes to cinema. And 777 Charlie also took a lot of time because of the pandemic and things like that. Otherwise, probably 777 Charlie would have got ready much earlier. Also, 777 Charlie was a time when I was trying to explore myself. So I wanted that time. I wanted to be away from, I so much believed in Kiran Raj that I knew these guys will, take care of things. And when it comes to production, I was looking at everything from Eagle's perspective, that okay, as long as I'm not crossing this budget, I'm fine with it. So I was taking my own time for a lot of things, but I believe from now on that learning is already done, and this exploring is already done. So I hopefully I'll be much faster in terms of I won't be taking so much time for sure, but at the same time, if the project requires a certain time, I won't compromise on that for that, because the way I'm going to make films are going to be the same. The kind of dedication or passion which requires for each project, that has to be given. That you can't compromise on.
So thank you so much, Rakshit, for talking to Deccan Herald, and all the best for 777 Charlie.
Thank you so much, man.